All right, what's going on, folks? Let me see if I can cut this music off here and get us rolling. We should be live on YouTube. Live. What in the world? Let me cut that off. I know where that's coming from. Oh, no, hold on. Here we go. All right. So, look, if you are here, I appreciate it very much. And if you want to be notified of future events, because we're going to be doing a lot of them upcoming, the reason I called this the countdown begins is because we're about to head into the fourth quarter. We're September 2023. There's been a lot of pieces to the puzzle put in place to change the real estate investing market. There's all kinds of deals that we're going to be able to pick up as the interest rate continues to shock the real estate market. The interest rate rises and the stick-to-itiveness of higher interest rates. We've never raised interest rates as high, not as high, but as quickly as we have. And that's going to have an impact that is creating a shift that's going to allow us to be in heavy acquisitions mode. So if y'all want to learn about that, well, the countdown begins, right? We don't have like a bad market right now by any means. We're still selling houses hand over fist. We're still getting multiple offers on houses from time to time. But I sense a shift occurring. And as shift occurs, we want to be prepared with every single possible strategy that's available for us to make money in any market, on any house, with any seller, without using any of our own money or any of our own credit. So if y'all want to learn that, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button in the YouTube if you're in YouTube. If you're not in YouTube, let me kind of throw a little thing up here that you should be able to check out. Where are those banners and overlays at here? Uh-oh. Did I mess something up here? Let's see. Here we go right here. If you want to go ahead and watch this on YouTube or comment live as we go on YouTube, you can do that right there on the stream right there. If you do go in there, subscribe, because you'll and click the little bell icon, because then you can be notified on what's going on. Maybe like the video. If you don't like it, whatever, give feedback. I usually go in and answer just about every comment that comes in on there. And then I'll also let you know, because not all of you are aware, that there's a tremendous amount of free resources that are available. So let me go ahead and put this guy in the banner here, which is this one. And if you see this link that says termsdaddy.com/EB, that stands for ebook. There's a whole book of scripts. You need to know what to say to sellers if you want to get these deals done. That's where the deal is made. The deal is made right here on the phone. The deal isn't made on the quality of the leads. The deal isn't made on the education you have in your brain. The deal is made based on what you say to Mr. and Mrs. Seller on the phone, so that you can learn if it makes sense to move forward or not. And if you want to learn exactly what to say, go grab that ebook. That ebook will help you. All right. Now, what you're going to say has a lot to do with what you're going to do. So we got to talk about what we're going to do. What are we going to do with all these properties? I made a tall claim, didn't I? I can buy any house from any seller in any market without using any of my own money or any of my own credit. All y'all can. All y'all can. So if that's a fact, we need to know what strategies we're going to deploy to be able to do that, to be able to fulfill on that. So let me clear my throat. Now let me show you here how this goes down, okay? Let's take a look at these slides here. Actually, I wonder if I can blow this up a little bit. And yeah, that'll work. I'm not sure if I can see your comments, but I'll come back and look at the comments. If you're on YouTube, you can comment, and I'll throw your comment up on here, or your question, and I'll answer your question. But I want to get through a little bit of the 30,000 foot view on how this business actually works. Okay. You want to be in a position where you can deliver on this claim of being able to really transact with any seller in any market. So here's the way we do it. I should say, here's the full spectrum of choices that a seller has, and you're going to plug the seller into one of these slots that I'm going to share with you based on their answers to your questions, the questions that I'm going to give you to ask them. Look, the lowest hanging fruit, which is why all this stuff is peddled by all these grifters out here, right? Look, let's face it, a lot of grifters in this industry of real estate coaching. If y'all are trying to go make a living wholesaling real estate, you can go make some money wholesaling real estate. But if that's going to be the only niche that you understand, you are going to be grinding. You might as well go get a 9-to-5 job, because you're going to be working 9 to 5 to get your deals for sure. But if you really want to build cash now, cash flow, and long-term wealth, you have to have a much more robust strategy. Okay, it's not just getting a property under contract at 50, 60 cents on the dollar and assigning the contract. If you could do that, great. We'll do that all day long. We get deals like that. But do you really, really believe in your heart of hearts, from the tippy top of your head to the bottoms of your toes, do you really believe that in the age of the internet that we're in, where anyone can go look up the value of their house, that you're just going to have a where there's 25 fix and flip shows on TV at any given moment? Well, everybody competing for these for deals where you can get a supreme discount. Do you really believe that you're going to be able to go out and get houses readily 50, 60 cents on the dollar? Well, if you have a call center, you can. If you're exceptionally gifted in lots of different ways that we can go through later, which we will, then you can still get these deals. I get these deals from time to time. My clients get these deals from time to time, but this would be a crappy program if that's all we did. So what I'm telling you, and I hate to say it, if you're in just a wholesaling program and that's all you're learning, I don't know, maybe you ought to think about widening your scope. But we'll do these deals. If we can get these deals, we'll take these deals. So you can get a property under contract and then sell the contract. The good thing about assignments, and remember, the laws are changing. Go look up the new Alabama law that came out. We already have one in Oklahoma, Illinois. The world is changing for all these assignments. Okay, so if that's your game, you better buck up and cowboy up. Learn some new ways of doing business. If you get a contract to buy a house, whether it's one that you're going to wholesale because you got it really cheap, or one that you just got really good terms on, you could assign a contract that's a full price deal that's maybe based on monthly payment terms. Let's say a guy has a house that's worth $300 and they owe $285 on it, and the seller just wants to get out from under the debt because they got a job somewhere else, and they know they're not going to get any money at closing. If they sell with a realtor, there's not even enough to pay the realtor and pay the bank and pay the closing costs. They just want someone to relieve them of that debt so they can move on with their life. So if we come in and offer to take over those payments, or you do that and you get a contract to do that, you could sell that deal all day long to me or to landlords or to others, because it removes the need of your end buyer to go get financing, because the existing financing remains on it. So deals like that, you're able to assign also. So you need to learn more than just buy low, sell high. It's not just buy low, sell high. Okay. Assignments are a part of the business and you can definitely do them. Clearly, fixer-uppers are a part of the business, aren't they? You get a house, you get it at a good price. You know there's a particular amount of repairs that are needed. You fix it up and you resell it. Lots of people have been making money doing that for years. There are television shows about that, right? That's an aspect of the business. Well, we can do that. Not all houses qualify for that, though, do they? A lot of houses qualify for this next one, which is what I just described. a lot of people call this taking property subject to. I would submit to you that the way it's being taught is by a lot of popular in a lot of popular places is could be improved, and I'll get into more detail on that as we go. But it is an absolute fact that you can take over somebody's payments and actually own the property, and the loan stays in that seller's name. Now, there is some hair on that we have to deal with that we'll talk about later. That involves things like due on sale clauses and other things that we can potentially overcome. But the idea that it's just a free-for-all and you don't have to be careful in the way you do things is highly embellished. So there's a way to do this, and getting a good coach, getting a good mentor, not getting some dipshit in a Facebook group who doesn't know shit to tell you because they saw a video how it should be done. That's not who you want to be learning from. Okay, I'm not a big advocate for, learning from people who haven't done it over and over and over and over again and know the pitfalls and the ins and outs. Okay, so this is one of the reasons why I recommend getting coaching. I'm not going to turn this into a shameless sales pitch here, but if you want to get coaching, mentoring on how to actually do this and get it from the actual person and not the actual person's minion, then you might want to jump on a Zoom call, schedule a call. We'll look and see if we can enter a mentoring relationship. I don't take everybody. Super inexpensive to do this because of the way I have it set up. It's really based on getting you to perform, getting you self-reliant, and then being in position to do joint ventures with you later where we split profits 50-50. If y'all aren't real familiar with me, you can go on to YouTube and see a whole lot of stuff, right? I've been doing this 30 years. I'm one of the few people who puts a documentary out on deals that I've done that goes back 30 years. Okay, so you're not dealing with Johnny come lately here. Don't know if I can help you for sure, but I'm more than willing to try. If you want to jump on a Zoom call, I'm happy to talk to folks. Pretty passionate about the topic, obviously. So we can take over payments from folks. Another thing that happens sometimes, and these are really profitable deals. You can go, if you're in the Facebook group already, then you'll see in the Facebook group some of the ways that we do it. There's YouTube videos on it as well out there, or when we get on the one-on-one, we can talk about that. Sometimes the house is free and clear, isn't it? The house is free and clear. Seller doesn't owe anything on it. It's been in the family a long time, but they don't want to hire a realtor and give up. You got a $500,000 house. You're going to give up 30 grand to a realtor. 30 grand. That's a couple years of college education in some schools, right? Not even 1 year in other schools. But you're going to give up 30 grand when you don't have to. You can keep all the money that you and the house has earned, but you just have to be a little bit patient in getting the money. And we'll pay you for the patience. We'll give you monthly payments for a period of time until we pay you off in full. So a lot of maybe they have a big capital gain and they don't want to earn that capital gain all in 1 year and pay big tax rates. So there's all kinds of advantages to owner financing, seller financing that you need to learn how to communicate to those sellers so that you can get those deals done. So to get those deals done on a free and clear house, we structure monthly payments to them until we get them paid off in full. But we own the house. Now, some sellers are gonna tell you, well, look, I want to get as much money as I can out of my house, and I don't want to be paying realtor commissions and things like that. So I'm totally fine with taking payments on this thing, but ain't no way I'm giving up this house and giving up the deed to the house until I'm paid in full. Are you out your mind? Some people will say that, right? And if that's the case, hey, that's fine. I understand where you're coming from on that. It's a little easier for us to sell it and get you paid off in full when we already own it, because the bank who's putting the loan in for the person who's ultimately going to cash both of us out is going to want to see some seasoning, some chain of ownership for a period of time. But we don't have to do it that way. I can simply just rent the house from you. So you'll get the same monthly payment. I'll rent it from you for a period of time until we pay you off in full. You just have to give me the ability to buy the house during the term of the lease So I'll rent it from you, but you have to give me the ability to buy the house in the normal way during the term of the lease. If you can do that, we're basically accomplishing the same thing. You down? And in those cases, we'll do a sandwich lease. We have a lease with an option to buy, and then we sublease with an option to buy, making spreads all across the way. We give the seller less than we have coming in from our buyer up front as an option fee. We give the seller less monthly than we have coming in from our buyer monthly. We give the seller less on the price than what we're getting from our buyer on the price, and we make spreads all along the way. Sometimes our buyer doesn't actually exercise their option and buy, and we go do the whole thing again and get another big option fee up front. We don't have to share any of that with the seller. So this is also a strategy that is highly deployable. Also, you could go get these deals and just assign them if you wanted to. I don't think that's the right thing to do, but you could do that. What about the person who's in an area that lends itself well to like short-term rentals, like Park City, Miami, Los Angeles, Arizona? I mean, various places, right? If you're in a place like that, you could rent long-term, right? So the person's willing to rent it to you, but they don't want to sell it to you because, they're investors themselves sometimes. We can rent it from them, but then we could use a short-term rental strategy, and that's rental arbitrage. We're paying a lot lower to rent something monthly, but we're getting much more money on a short-term rental basis from the folks that we're short-term rentaling to. Airbnb, for example. Now, that is fraught with peril, and there's a lot to that I'd recommend you don't take this video and go out and start doing that unless you have proper coaching and mentoring on how to do it. It doesn't have to be from me. There's people who, specialize in that area. But I can help you and make sure that you're doing things right as well. And that's another thing we can talk about if you want to book a call or go check out some more videos in here. Here's the other thing that happens, folks. Sometimes you get a seller that is totally open to taking payments on their house for a period of time until we pay them off in full, but they want too much down. They want too much monthly. They're only going to give you a short duration. They got to be paid off in like the next couple of years. Or they just want too much of a price. It's like a make me move price. Well, we can still get those deals locked up in an agreement. Go out to the market, see what the market will bring us. And when the buyer appears, when the bird is in the hand, we go back to the seller. And obviously, if we beat the terms that we have with the seller with what the buyer brought us, we can just close and make the spreads, right? Make the difference. But once we have a buyer in hand, that's about as best as we can get out of the market. We can go back to that seller and potentially renegotiate that deal with a bird in the hand and make the profits that come along with that. So in other words, you could just take whatever terms the seller's willing to give you and then go out to the market and find your buyer and then reverse engineer things. I've got all kinds of examples of that in my elite coaching training portal. You'll have access to that if you decide to take the business seriously enough, invest a little bit in your skill development, and potentially come on board. Okay, we'd have to talk. So schedule a one-on-one call if you want to do that. Send me a message if you want to chat before doing that. We can do that. Now, here's the other thing, folks. Look, there's this dilemma where investors and realtors seem to be at odds from time to time. That's just not necessary. Folks, the price of houses is so high right now that to me, it's just silly to be an investor and not have realtors on your team or to go get a real estate license yourself. If you're kind of a one-man show, or one-woman show, go get the license. It doesn't take that long. Some states it's 60 hours, some states it's 90 hours, some states it's a little more. Go get that license. It's a license to print money, because every deal that you cannot get a monthly payment until we pay them off in full on a terms deal, every deal that you can't get like that, that seller's looking to get cashed out immediately. And if they're looking to get cashed out immediately, guess what, folks? They ain't selling that house without a realtor. the realtors have a monopoly on the buyer. Why do the realtors have a monopoly on the buyer? Because realtor services are free for a buyer. Who in the hell wants to set up their own escrow, set up their own title, set up their own inspection, set up their own, stuff with the mortgage broker, deal, not have the protection of dealing within a regulated environment like realtors have to operate in? Why in the world would a buyer go it alone unless they're savvy like us? But a normal retail price paying owner occupying buyer, they're all using realtors. That's who the sellers are fishing for when they go for sale by owner and they want to be cashed out right away, right? They all want that buyer. That's the best buyer you can get, right? The bank's going to bring in a loan, they put a little bit down, and then the seller walks away with all that money. Well, guess what? You ain't going to get that without a realtor representing the buyer and paying a commission, because all the buyers are represented by realtors. Because the buyer gets driven around in a Cadillac, taken to Starbucks. The red carpet is rolled out for them. Everything is handled for them. And they don't have to pay for it. The seller pays the freight on that. So you can't fish in a pond where there's no fish. So if you're going to sell it in a way that's different than what I'm talking about, where you'll get a lot more money, but true, you do have to be a little bit patient in getting it. If you can't live with that, I understand. But understand, we can still help you get the house sold and get as much money as you can out of it, but there's going to be some fees associated with that. We'll mitigate those as much as possible. You need this house in the MLS, the multiple listing service. You need this house exposed to realtors, because the realtors who represent buyers, they have a monopoly on all the buyers. You're not going to get any buyer coming in here on their own who's not savvy. And if they're savvy, they're going to work, a price reduction, and you're going to end up paying one way or the other. So you got to kind of pick your poison, so to speak. More money from me, but you got to be patient in getting it. We'll pay you for your patience. Or you get a little bit less money, but you get all your money you have coming to you now. What would you prefer? We'll help you either way. Now, if you have a license, all the people you're not buying houses from, you're going to get that deal. You're going to get the realtor listing because you've demonstrated your character, you've demonstrated your competency. They appreciate that you have integrity. You've been authentic with them. You've been genuine with them. You've been transparent with them. And you showed them that you have skills and expertise by talking them through their alternatives. That's a lot better than these schmendrick realtors who call up with the same old line. I got a marketing plan. I got a buyer coming in this weekend. I want to preview your house. And then they get in the house. Well, this one's not for them, but we'll get your house listed for you. Man, people are tired of that game. Okay, that script is from like 1975. I've had that read to me so many times by people on the phone when I sell a house. I mean, so look, if you're a realtor and you're doing that, you might want to jump on a one-on-one call. My realtor clients do phenomenal in this program. I'll help you understand the investment side of the business, and it'll not only make you a lot more money on the investment side of the business, but your realtor brokerage business, your agency business, your listings business will go through the roof. Literally will go through the roof. Now, let's take a look at a few things here. And I think I already mentioned this. Knowing how, we got a whole bunch of comments in here that I didn't even get to. I'll cover this slide with us later. Let's just make sure we don't have, what am I missing in here? I don't really see any questions in here. I see, I like this. I like this. Look, can I even do this? Look at that. From Ronnie, my man. Look at that. Yeah, well, I'm not going to disagree with that. I never get tired of hearing that, actually. If you want to get that feeling that Ronnie describes here, you might want to jump on one of these nightly calls. Look, here's the thing, folks. Let me take that off though here. Let me show this question right here. It says, you mean if I am a realtor, I can bring the buyer? For some reason, when I use StreamYard, it doesn't show who you are. So I'll have to go back onto Facebook and see who you are. There's a way to make it so that you can show your name. I don't know if you did that anonymously or not, but I'm seeing that everybody on Facebook is unfortunately anonymous. But let me answer your question. If you're a realtor, yes, you absolutely can bring the buyer depending on what kind of deal we're talking about. So here's the way we do that. Let's say I have a house. Let's say I took it over subject to an existing mortgage, and now I'm selling it on a lease with an option to buy. So I've advertised no bank qualifying, easy terms, get a piece of the American dream. Just make sure you have a down payment. And then you call me up and you're like, yeah, I got this guy. I'm a realtor. Had me drive him around to 20 houses. Interest rates went up. And now the doggone guy doesn't qualify for a loan, but they still want to live in this neighborhood. I saw this house come up. If we just would have got them qualified while interest rates were lower, they would have qualified. But right now they don't. Within the next little while, they probably will. But they really want to be in this school district. They just got married. And it's, a blended family, and the kids want to go to this school district here. I got to get them in a house. There's just like nothing available other than apartments and crappy rental homes. So, I saw this and I was like, man, I'd love to do it, but like, how do I get paid? I'm a realtor. How do I get paid on this thing? Now I got to wait until they qualify for the loan to get paid. So how are you going to answer that? Well, if you want to know how to answer that, you come to the training. We show you how to do it. But here's the answer. So what I do on the houses that I'm leasing with an option to buy, if you have a buyer and you're a realtor, I'll pay you. And you'll like this. I'll pay you 25%. What's the catch? Well, not 25% of the price. I'll pay you 25% of the down payment that you get them to bring in, up to a maximum of the full listing co-op, which is usually 3%. So on a $500,000 house, you can make 15 grand on that, up to 15 grand on that without even selling it, basically renting it. What do you normally get as a realtor renting it? You get like half of 1 month's rent. You can get 15 grand on it. Let's say somebody has $50,000 on a $500,000 house that they can put down, and then they'll rent it from me for 2 years until they exercise their option to buy. Then what's higher? 3% of $500,000, or I should say what's lower? 3% of 500,000 or 25% of 50,000? Well, you'll get that. You'll get 12,500. Okay, so yes, as a realtor, you can absolutely bring the buyer. Hi, Daddy, your program is, I love that. I love that. Hi, Daddy, your program is second to none in the market. I love it when y'all call me Daddy, especially when the women call me Daddy. I don't mind if the boys call me Daddy either. I'm not trying to hate. But yeah, it's kind of it's not supposed to be like sexual like that. It's supposed to be like GoDaddy. But in our group, we definitely, add some other elements to it. Look, let me put it to y'all. Oh, look at this. Holy cow, y'all are blowing me up over here. There you go, Tim. I appreciate that, man. That's a very nice thing to say. I love it. Look, we got another one coming in here. What's this one? Tim, I appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Guys, if you're on the fence, pull the trigger. Okay, I don't want to turn this into shit. You guys don't have to be doing that, right? I appreciate all of that. I really do. Here's the thing. Let's just talk about what these folks who are, giving me these accolades, or giving the program these accolades are really saying here. You have to consider that if you want to get the ability to implement on a good education, it usually requires some form of coaching or mentoring. Michael Jordan had it. Kobe Bryant had it. All the people who are the best in their industry have always used some form of coaching because it accelerates your pathway to success. We've got a lot of people making a lot of money in here because they have actually had someone handhold them through the deals. I go to the extent of writing contracts for people. We have a nightly call. You dialogue with me literally every night. If you like, you have walkie-talkie access to me to help you with your deals. It's like having an investor in your pocket. So the question that you really need to ask yourself is, if you're kind of on the fence on, well, look, this is not expensive. You only need a few $1,000s to get involved with this. We're not trying to do this $30,000, $50,000, $100,000 coaching stuff. It's not even 10 grand, right? You're going to be well south of that. The reason I make it so cheap is because that way I can pick the right people to come into the program. It's not like a volume-based thing. pick the right people to come into the program and get them self-reliant. You all make your own money. And as you start making money, it's very frequently the case that you're going to start coming across, or deals are going to be brought across your desk that are a little bit bigger than what you're comfortable with. And when that happens, you can call Daddy, right? And we can JV on it. There's no deal that I can't finance. You're not going to find any deal that I'm not going to be able to finance. It just depends on if the math makes sense. And if it makes sense, then we go 50-50 on it. Now, true, that's a heavy price to pay, 50% of your profits. But a lot of people will say 50% of a lot of money is better than potentially 100% of nothing if you do it on your own. I'd submit that you have a much better chance of getting it done. It's probably not going to be 100% of nothing. You'd probably be able to do it with my help as a coach and not have to JV with me. So I kind of discourage people from JVing because, it is 50% if I end up having to quarterback it. And that's a heavy price to pay when you can do it by yourself and I can just help you. Okay. So we do that in the coaching. Anyway, here's my point. My point is this. Have you ever considered what the cost of going through life is without having skills that can make the kind of money that real estate investors make without having to use any of their own money or any of their own credit? If you think you're saving money by not investing in your skill development, what about all y'all who were on the fence a couple of years ago who could have had a portfolio of properties by now that accidentally appreciated 100%, like the people in Miami, like some of the people in California, like some of the people in Seattle, like some of the people in Vegas where I am? People are sitting on 7 figures because they invested a few $1,000s in learning skills where they didn't even expect to get appreciation, and now they have a ton of appreciation. What is life costing you without these skills? What I'm basically saying is this. If you think the cost of training is expensive, try the cost of not having the skills that can make a fortune for you. You really have to evaluate that. So anyway, if you're of the mindset that I just can't do it, I can't do it, I spent too much money on coaches, can't do it, all these guys out here, all they're doing is selling courses, and you don't want to get real help, and you just don't want to do it, and you want to learn from YouTube University or learn from Facebook University, I'm down with that. Success rate is about 5% when you learn from videos. Success rate should be 100% when you have coaching, because the coach is going to walk you through making the deals. So if you want to go the route, this is why I do this stuff for free, by the way, in Facebook and on YouTube. I mean, it doesn't matter to me really what y'all choose to do. It's your life. So if you want to go through this free stuff, I'm going to put the information out here. Like the training, I always try to make that free. It's the implementation help that costs, because I got to put a lot of time, energy, effort, as you see what people are saying in here, into helping you get across the finish line to make money with this. But, there's a couple thousand people in the Facebook group, not as many. I think it's less than 1,000 even in the YouTube group. But if you add that up, I don't know how much overlap there is, but you say 3,000 people. If 5% of the people get wealthy off of videos, great. I helped 150 people, put 7 figures on the board. So I'm happy to do that. I'm also really happy that y'all joined me regardless of whether you're coming to the coaching program or not. It's fun to do these things. It looks like this live stream actually worked. We've had ones that haven't worked over the last couple of days. You ought to at least congratulate yourself, whether you're paying or not, for putting yourself in a position where preparation, the stuff you're doing now, is going to meet opportunity that's going to come your way as you have deals come across your desk. I'm just suggesting to you very strongly that you'll make a lot more progress, and it'll be one of the best investments you make if you get a good quality coach. It does not have to be me, but if you get good coaching, it always helps. If you get crappy coaching, well, you learn what not to do, and you move on. You don't get all butthurt about it, right? how can you find the one if you don't sample the many? I've probably spent over $1 million on coaching in my 30 years of real estate across not just the real estate business vertical, but private equity, venture capital, even parenting. Some of y'all know I have custody of my kids. I've taken, I've paid parenting coaches. I guess we don't know if that's going to pay off yet. I got teenagers that are a little wild from time to time, but but I feel like it's made me feel comfortable with the decisions I've made as a parent. But what I can tell you, out of that $1 million that I've spent, 800,000 of it was garbage. So I understand the reluctance, because a lot of the stuff that's sold out here is garbage. It really is. But that doesn't mean like you don't still pursue skill development. The $200,000 that I spent has made me tens of millions of dollars. So was it a good investment? Yeah, very good investment. Take it to the romantic realm. If you go out on a few dates, with 3, 4, 5, 6 girls, and you don't like any of them, what are you going to change teams? You're all of a sudden going to go the other way? Not that there's anything wrong with it, but is that what you're going to do? No. You keep going until you find the one, and cut ties and move on. So anyway, maybe what I'll do a Facebook Live in here. Maybe we'll do an REI cafe. We'll start doing those probably on, maybe on the weekends, where we can just kind of kibitz about various things. And I'll tell you all the excuses that people make and kind of give you some perspective on that. But look, this is a friendly place. It's a safe place. It's a little bit of locker room talk from time to time. And, maybe that's not appreciated all the time, but we try to have fun. And if you want to come to these lives, I really appreciate y'all joining me. Come on the YouTube, come in the Facebook group. You want to do a one-on-one call, you'll get me personally. You're not going to get some douchebag salesperson, okay, trying to sell you on a course. You can talk to me. We're just going to have a real talk. See if I can help you. I don't even know if I can help you. I got to learn about where you've been, where you are, where you want to go, and we'll figure it out. Not going to be a high pressure thing at all. But if you want to schedule that, jump on my calendar. If you can't find a time, I got my personal cell phone in there. Who does that? Who's crazy enough to get on YouTube and give out their personal cell? 702-364-2323. Text me on that number. We'll get you set up. I'll try to help you as best I can. All right, y'all. Whether you're on the replay or on the live, I appreciate these comments. I'll come back in here and check out these comments and see, what I can offer in terms of help. And we'll do a lot more of these. We're definitely going to be doing these on Thursdays. I'm going to try to, I'm going to go check out this Henderson Little League. They were in the Little League World Series. So I'm going to go check that out on Saturday. So I'm not sure what time, if we do like a little chat on Saturday. But pay attention to your email. Pay attention to what's going on in the group. We'll get you going. Anyway, I appreciate y'all very much, and y'all have a wonderful evening. Ciao for now. Appreciate y'all.